yeah. Oh yeah. Cosmon in the house. Yeah. Cosmonian. The hostess with the most is burning like toast is, and I'm right back like I left something. Welcome Jehovah Chronicles number 79. As a matter of fact, I probably need to put that up there. This is Jehovah Chronicles. Let me check this out. Number 79. And this is a, like a lesson on the language of Owaspy. Right? The language of Owaspy. I brought one of my good buddies. I brought one of my good buddies, PhD. You know what I mean? And a linguist. You know what I mean? And this is her right up her alley. So my sister from another mother, same father. I want you to put your hands together for Dr. Susan B. Martinez. Hey, Doc. Can you hear me? Hey. I just want to make sure.
Loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, my dear.
Okay. I just want to make sure that everybody in the crowd can hear you. If y'all can hear the doctor and y'all can hear me, give me a 1 in the chat. Give me a 1 in the chat if we can be heard and if the doc can be heard. Go ahead, Doc. Give him a little something.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead. Say hello to the people.
Okay, I'll say hello. And since you mentioned linguist, let me give this a little bit of background. When I was a kid, I applied to graduate school and I was accepted at Columbia University in New York City at the Department of Anthropology at Columbia University 100 years ago. And the way anthropology was broke down in those days, I don't know if it still is, was into 4 parts. So if you join the team, you have to choose one of 4 aspects of anthropology. They probably still do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Here are the 4 subfields of anthropology: cultural anthropology, linguistic anthropology, physical anthropology, and archaeology. See, so those are the specialties that you go into. Anyway, I was a language freak my entire life. I mean, I was the kind of kid who sat around reading the dictionary. So I chose linguistics, and it was really good choice because there were really, really very few of us in that program. So I'm officially a linguistic anthropologist, even though I walked away from US quite a long time ago. And have nothing to do with the academic world, but that's just giving you my background. I'm a language nut, and I don't know what I'm going to say today, but I have a rough idea of what I want to get across, beginning with correct pronunciation.
Oh, man, this is going to be deep. Hey, listen, I want y'all to go get your cups of water. You dig what I'm talking about? Get your little splipper-ting. Get whatever you need. But don't move. Do not go anywhere. And also, we're supposed to have our brother, Kente Hill, is supposed to come through and help us build on this lesson. The brother is learning Latin, right? He's learning Latin. So with that influence, we'll get into understanding many of the ancient Latin alphabet and the sound and vowel making and word pronunciation, because there are times even in Owaspy where the Latin language is applied to or referenced. You see what I'm saying? Even though it's not primarily used. but Latin ties back into English also. So we can it's always beneficial to go back to source, even if that source uh, is just one of many sources, especially when
Right.
speaking about English. You know what I mean? It's based
Right.
in every language, which is actually smart. You know what I mean? It's they say it's one of the harder languages to learn, but
It is.
it's actually a smart language, and I see why it dominates the planet in
Yes.
the highest of the highest learned men, because it amalgamated everything. It took the best of everything, and mushed it all in one. And so this is why we have it has an Arabic influence, or a German, or maybe an English, and uh, uh, um,
French.
French and Spanish, and old Algonquin. You know what I mean? It's a all encompassing language. You know what I mean? And it can be confusing, but we got the people today to break it down and bring light to the situation. So, with no further ado, I'm gonna let the doc get to it, and you start us off where you want to start us off, doc. Go ahead and,
Okay.
and get the people the lesson. You break us down. You let us know where we're going today.
Okay, what you just said about English, it really has become they call it the lingua franca, the universal language of the planet. Everything you said about English is true, and more. I watch when I watch shows on Amazon Prime. I watch European shows. I can't stand the American shows. The series,
Mm-hmm.
and I try to catch the North European shows, the Scandinavian. I believe they're the best. But anyway, after a while, when you get fluent in European shows, you see how in Europe they are using English as the common language, particularly in the North. They all learn English as a second language in schools. The phrase lingua franca translates literally as language French. And so French was once the diplomatic language of the world, but it's no longer. Well, at this point, English has become the one. So that speaks really good for Gautama and all the other stuff. But I'm gonna say that everything you said about English is true, with one exception. We have really fallen behind in our spelling system. Okay, and the first thing I want to point out is the difference between spelling and pronunciation. This is a hard lesson, because this stuff is built into us. It's built into our blood. But now the official word for a spelling system is orthography. It's called orthography, and the English orthography, the spelling system does not correspond too well with the way we pronounce words. So we're kind of adrift. We kind of don't. We're easily confused by words and how they should be pronounced because of this disparity between orthography and pronunciation. So I want to get into that, and like you say, we're going to be joined shortly by Kente Hill, who's studying Latin, and he is going to recite the Latin alphabet for us when he gets on. But I'm going to start with the vowels. So when I'm talking about correct pronunciation, I'm talking about the system that's called IPA. It stands for International Phonetics Association. Phonetics is the word that means how words sound.
Right.
It refers to their sound, not their spelling,
Right.
not the orthography, but how they exactly sound. So IPA is the International System for Transcribing. You see, as a student in linguistic anthropology, I had to go into the field and transcribe an unknown language using IPA. You know, the English spelling system won't help you much. You need a universal system in order to put a sound down on paper, and that's what IPA is. That's what phonetics is. That's what I did for the Guajiro language in South America and Venezuela. I'm going to start with the. Okay, we know that we've got vowels and consonants as far as the sound systems in any language.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm speaking in general terms now, so I can speak better about vowels than about consonants, because consonants are a little hard to discuss here, but the vowels are straight on. So let me hit on this first, because what we've got in the English language vowel system, apart from the diphthongs, which is with vowel combinations, is the 5 vowels: A, E, I, O, U. Okay.
Now say it again, Doc. Now say it again, Doc.
I'm not going to say it again, but I'm going to pronounce it phonetically now.
Yeah.
I'm going to pronounce the vowels now, not the way an English or Anglo speaker does, which I just spoke.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm going to give the international pronunciation of the vowels. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to repeat it. And on the repetitions, whoever's listening, please just repeat it with me so you get it onto your tongue, because this is what language comprehension is about. If you want to know anything about a language other than English, which includes OSPE words, which we will get to. Okay, here are your vowels phonetically: A, E, O, U. Okay, I'm going to repeat them, and I want you to say it with me this time. A,
E,
O,
U. Now,
okay.
From my understanding, Doc, I hate to cut your bill, but from my
come right in.
From my understanding, this A, E, O, U applies to every other language in the world except English. Is that true?
That's absolutely true. That's what I'm trying to get across, because I'm very tired of the Anglo bias in language pronunciation and language study, and I want to get across that we're going toward one world now, and we might as well get familiar with the way to pronounce people's languages, and it's not hard, and we got to start with the vowels. So I'm going to do it one more time. A,
E,
E,
O,
U. Okay, great. Now, I want to comment that I got a lot of dictionaries sitting here. I'm going to read them off to you. I'm working on the mother language, so I've got a lot of dictionaries. Okay, here's what I got right here at my side: Hebrew, Sanskrit, German, Igbo, that's Nigeria, Latin, Japanese, Basque, and Ojibwe.
In the Ojibwa, ha!
Yeah. So, I mean, language is really a lot of fun. I know some of you have natural ability, and some don't. Like whenever I say any foreign word to Richie, brother-in-law, who's a friend of mine, he gets it right away, and he pronounces it right away. He just has a natural bent for language. I don't have to spell it. I don't have to repeat it. He just hears me. Some people are better at this than others, but this is to give a basic understanding. And what I want to say now is that I learned a little bit of the Spanish language when I did my field work down there in South America. And Spanish, I've always had this strong impression from Alaska that Spanish is very old. In fact, you mentioned that in a message to me last week. You said something really outrageous. You said Spanish was older than Latin, and that really knocked my socks off. But there's something to it, brother.
Because what do they call Spanish? Spanish is called España. The España, or the spiritual speech of Pan.
Exactly. That is the exact breakdown. And we're going to get to talking about semantic breakdowns in a little while. But right now, what I'm going to do is recite the Spanish alphabet for all of you. And I'll probably do it a second time so you can catch on.
Right.
And my reason for doing this is that Spanish is very, very phonetic in its spelling system, in its orthography. And its orthography corresponds almost perfectly to its pronunciation. So you see what I'm getting at. So Spanish is a very excellent second language for us. And now I'm going to recite the Spanish alphabet so you can hear the phonetic sounds, which are IPA, International Pronunciation. Okay, and their alphabet corresponds very closely to our own. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. The English, the British say Z. We say Z. The British say Z, and the Spanish say Zeta. Okay, I'm going to run this through one more time so you can appreciate it. These are phonetic sounds, and the sooner you learn these, the sooner you can apply it to any language. I should mention one thing. I've already mentioned that the consonants are a little trickier, and we don't have time to go into all of them, and they will vary from language to language, but they're basically similar. The other thing that I cannot break down for you is the tones in the language, and emphasis. In other words, which syllable is pronounced the heaviest. Okay. We might come up to that a little later on, and I'll see what I could say about it. But so the tones is very interesting. Some languages are actually tonal, which means that depending on which tone you use, it changes the meaning. There are a lot of tonal languages in the world. I haven't learned any of them, but tones are important. And otherwise, even when they're not phonemic, when they don't have a special meaning to them, they're totally characteristic of the language. Like, let me explain. The last language I started learning is Igbo from the southeast of Nigeria. I had a contact on Messenger, and she's been teaching me the Igbo language, and I've been jotting it down. And we can communicate perfectly well on Messenger, but when she got on the phone with me, I couldn't understand her. She was speaking English, but, in that rapid African English, with a whole different tonal system. In other words, they get the word. People who have English as a second language get the words right. They get the words right, but not the tone. And it throws me off. It throws me off completely when I hear it on the telephone. Anyway, so you know that these are all the elements we have to deal with. And I'm going to run through the Spanish alphabet one more time before I go on.
Okay, go ahead, Doc.
Okay. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W,
W.
exactly, W, X, X, Y, Z. By the way, Y, it's spelled Y, G-R-I-E-G-A, and that means Y Greek. That means Y Greek if you translate it. But go figure. I don't know how that happened. Anyway, let me go on. So, with this knowledge, the Orthography name Tae, T-A-E, is not pronounced Tay. It's pronounced Tae. And I want to give you a good example, kind of a cute example. Some of you might know Mike McGill.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a brother who works at WASP from Southern California with a fantastically long website with a lot of science.
Yeah, he's he does the study of a WASP breakdown, right?
That's it.
Yeah. That brother Mike Sharp, man, that's a sharp brother. That's another brother I need to interview too. That's a sharp brother. He done a lot of research.
Amazing. And you let me know if you get him on, because he's kind of a lone wolf, you know.
He watches the show. So Mike, if you watching, I'm coming. He does watch the show, and usually he doesn't say anything in the chat, but he shoots me a message afterwards, and he tells me what he thinks of the show. So I always appreciate a brother who is so well versed, you know what I mean, letting me know that I'm on the right path, you know. So I appreciate Mike, man.
We haven't talked for years. We used to talk all the time. I'm really glad to hear that, and I really look forward to it. Mike has so much knowledge.
What? He is a plethora of knowledge.
And listen, make sure to ask him about Shoshone, because he's got a whole story with that.
With the Shoshone?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Make a mental note of that.
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you, Mike and I were good friends. It's been a while, so I don't know if he's still working there, but he was a prison guard down there in Southern California, and all the brothers in prison called him Taipan. Okay, and that means, in prison talk, that means he's the boss. He's the boss man. Okay, and I want you to note the pronunciation.
Tai.
And pan.
Yeah, and pan. They never put that together. The pan, the whole pan thing, they never put that together. So that's a great catch right there.
Taipan. So I don't want to hear no one saying Tay from now on, especially since my little organization of one here is called the Church of Tide.
Right.
Okay, so now I'm going to pronounce the tetrax for you, and this comes from 11/1.68.
Hold on, let me go there, Doc. You say where?
11/1.68.
11/168. 1 second. I'm getting to it.
No hurry.
You say 11/168? Okay. With you, Doc. Go ahead.
You know, it's interesting. I think the tetracts are mentioned. Let me just go off on a sidetrack for a second. I think the tetracts are mentioned a couple of times in Omaspe.
It is.
I don't think it's a single reference. And one of them is the Hebrew words. Tetract, and I believe it's this one because these look like Hebrew words.
These are the Hebrew. These are.
Oh, okay, let me say something else because you have something that will hop on your mind until you get a resolution for it. Years ago, I saw a reference somewhere to Reuben's tetracts in the King James Bible, in the Holy Bible. And I have, ever since I have asked people about it, and I never got a reply, but that original reference that I heard or saw said that the Reuben's tetracts were in the Holy Bible. So that's a curious point, and I wonder if it'll ever get resolved. But now I'm back to the tetracts in 11. What book is 11, by the way?
I believe this is 1 second. This is the not Osir. This is Sue. Hold on. I think it's the first book of the Lord's. The Lord's first book.
Cool. I thought you had it in front of you. I'm sorry for asking.
No, it's okay. Because I needed to know anyway. Go ahead.
Okay. So it says, they shall remember the seven tetracts. And I'll read them all. I'll read the whole thing and then we'll go back on it. Diva, the enticing evil. Wow. I'm just thinking, I think that includes pornography. It just hit me. Anyway, Ra, the flesh evil. That's also pornography. Zimma, the joking evil. Belial, worthlessness. Aven, vanity. Hanash, delight in destruction. And Satan, desire for leadership, which is the captain of death. Okay, let me go back on them and pick it apart. First of all, Diva. I want you to hear. You notice there's a double B there?
Yeah.
Okay. Whenever there's a double B, and you'll find that in a lot of languages, we don't have it too much in English, but a lot of languages do, and there's a phonemic difference between a single B and a double B. In other words, it'll change the
meaning.
The meaning, yeah. Okay, so Diba. You hear how the B is extended?
Yeah.
Diba. Okay, if it had one B, it would just be Diba. Okay?
Yeah.
It has two B's, so it's Diba. You hold it for an extra B. Okay, the next one is Ra, the flesh evil, which is an interesting word to trace. And we'll get into the tracing a little later on.
Okay.
The next word is Zimma, and that's a double M. Zimma. And you notice there's an H at the end, so that's called the aspirate. It's the aspirate consonant. So there's an extra breath on it. Listen, Zimma.
So that it's the Zimma.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. Okay, the next one, worthlessness, is Belial. And that word appears in literature. I'm sure you've come across it.
Yeah.
The spelling is different in Omaspe. Here it actually has a double Y and a double L. So the pronunciation would be Belial.
Almost like it's two words, like Belial.
It could be two roots, and we're going to get to the root business in a little while. The next one is Aven, vanity. And I'll jump the gun here and mention something that I was planning on saying later on, but right here I can mention that these are Hebrew or Panic words, but they have their descendants in our own languages. In other words, take a look at this word Aven. It's spelled A-V-E-N. So the V-E-N, that part is contained in our own word, vanity.
Vanity.
There's a vowel change, but Aven and vanity are called cognates. Cognates is the fancy word for words in different languages that sound alike and have the same meaning. So Aven and vanity are cognates because they sound alike. They have the same sound structure
now
and the same meaning.
So when a word like druja, right, is that is it being that it has a down effect, a negative, a low effect, would that be the same as saying, or is it why we say druja could be the source of the word drug? Is that the same in the same?
You took the words out of my mouth.
When you were saying it, this is what I was. Yeah, this is when you were saying it. This is what was coming to my mind. I'm like, so that's kind of like druja and drug.
Cognates, okay? They are cognates. And you can see how meaning shifts around between them. But something I want to point out about that word, druja, is that it's still in the vocabulary of Farsi. And I got to learn a little Farsi when I stayed in Afghanistan back in the late 1970s. I was doing some importing. I was doing some importing from Afghanistan, and they speak Dari, and that's their local language, and also Farsi. Farsi. Which is related to Farsi, which is the Persian language. Which is it a maybe a stepchild or a grandchild of the Phoenician? Probably, and I want to translate it for you because druja in Farsi means falsehood. It means falsehood. And so you see how wide the meaning can range when a different language picks up on the word and it goes into a different context, but it's still that same root word. I'm going to get more into that, but I think I'll finish up on some of this pronunciation business. And whenever Kenti joins us, we can just cut right into that and let him pronounce the Latin alphabet for us.
Okay.
But for now, what have I got here? Oh, okay. I want to tell you. Okay, here's another question, a WASPE question that comes up. And this is a question I've had for. Okay, I've been with the WASPE for 42 years, so.
Dang.
So
I can't wait. I can't wait till I got 42 in. I'm gonna be up here and somebody gonna be asking me some questions.
That's it. That's right, brother. And here's one, because we've got a lot of questions in our minds about OSP that are not answered, and here's one of mine. When you read OSP words, very often there's an apostrophe in the middle of the word. Okay, let me give an example. I have a few. I have 4 examples here. Rabba. In OSP, it's spelled RAB apostrophe BAH. Also, another word with the apostrophe right in the middle is Satan.
Satan.
SA apostrophe TAN. I've got 2 more, but I won't jump into them right now. Let me say this, that I have never figured out what that apostrophe means.
You know what? I've thought on this. And okay, now you see how Satan, let's take Satan, SA apostrophe TAN. But
wait a second. Satan, not Satan.
Satan. This is why we here for the pronunciation. So thank you. Satan.
Right.
Satan. Now I have there's apostrophes and then there's full you know, bar breaks. Sometimes what do you call them? Hyphens, right? There are hyphens in the words too. My what comes to mind when I see the when I see the hyphen in the word, you know how in South Africa some of those people talk with clicks.
Yeah.
I've always heard the hard h in my mind, or the in the speech. I can't explain it, but this is how it's like it's a sound that's like, how do you explain sucking your teeth to someone? You know what I mean?
It's very, very interesting that you say that, because what I was going to say is that in IPA, the International Phonetic System of Sounds, the apostrophe stands for a glottal sound, which is at the back of the throat. So I'm going to pronounce it for you. The difference between a regular K and a ka.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's glottal. There's a closure at the back of the throat, and that's called a glottal stop. And it's symbolized by an apostrophe, because if we want to transcribe any of the different languages of the world, we need this alphabet. We need the IPA, because some of them do have glottal stop. A lot of African languages have the glottal stop. So the difference with the T letter, ka, versus ka.
Yeah, that's it. That's how I hear it in my mind. I can't explain that. I don't know, but I've heard it.
You don't have to explain it. This is what it is. But I think it's the apostrophe, not the hyphen. If there's a hyphen, I'd like you to eventually come up with some examples for me so we can analyze it. But at the moment, I'm trying to say it's still a puzzle, because, for example, in the word rabah, which I just cited, R-A-B apostrophe B-A-H, in that word, it's almost impossible to do a glottal stop between those two B's. I'm doing rab-ah. Oh, wait a second. Yeah,
you can. Yeah.
Rab-ah. Rab-ah. No, it's hard to combine a glottal stop at the back of the throat with a B at the mouth point. They're at opposite points of where we pronounce things. So it's so confusing to me. But there are two more words I want to cover at this point, and then we can move on. And I'm going to sing a little song for you at the end of this.
Okay.
Okay. I'm quoting something from Cosmon Voice, 1984. It so happens Joan sent me a complete catalog of all the Cosmon Voice newsletters. Shout out
to Joan, man, and the UFK, RFK. Love all y'all.
You better shout out to Mother Joan.
That's right.
So this is from KV 1984. Someone wrote in that the arc cycles, I'm quoting, I'm going to read through this paragraph and then we'll get to my point. The arc cycles affecting the history of the earth have to do with a subtle form of light and darkness, and these are named GI, which is half light, EZ, full light, and IG, which is half dark. These cycles of light and darkness correspond to the historical cycles of destruction, Dark Age, Renaissance, and Enlightenment. That's the end of the quote.
Hold on, can you go back and go through that pronunciation again? Because I was when you said it sounded different. It hit totally different. And until you said Aji.
Don't rob my thunder. That's my whole point here. I'm coming coming back to it right now. For the first, the half-light was named GI, and it's spelled JI''AY. Okay, and almost everybody I've had in contact with, every faces pronounces that JIA. That's wrong.
Right.
That is pronounced GI.
GI?
Already GI, and there's your glottal. There's your glottal separating syllables. GI. You hear the glottal?
Uh-huh.
GI.
No, because I thought the word and how I pronounce it, and I've been saying this from day one, was J-ya.
No, honey. But erase that from your mind. And we're going to go back on it right now and follow the letters JI''AY. So that is pronounced
G-I.
G-I. That's the half-light. And IG, which people mispronounce AG or something like that, that's wrong. We want to be internationally understood. It's spelled A''Ji, and it means half dark. That's the density we always hear about in OSCE. A''Ji, pronounced G. G. If that's a glottal stop, it's a little hard.
I always called it Aja. I called it Aja. It's Aji.
If it was Aja, it would be spelled AJA.
Right.
Okay, so let's just try to imbibe as much of this as we can.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to sing a little song to you. Before I moved to Georgia, I was still in Florida, and I met a musician who was she followed the Kali cult of India, and we went to the ashram together a couple of times in Tennessee, and I joined her in a chanting. It was so much fun and so wonderful. And let me tell you that with the language Hindi, the language of India,
mm-hmm.
If you want to pronounce it, all you need is IPA. Okay, and this particular chant, I'll read it first and then I'll sing it for you. Is when you translate it, it says something like, grant me, take me out of the darkness to the light, take me out of mortality to immortality. And here are the words, and which I can pronounce only because I know phonetics.
Mm-hmm.
And here's how it is in Sanskrit. Asatoma satgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityur mamritam gamaya. Amrita, by the way, that's the immortality. You recognize that word for the Amrita? That was the ambrosia of immortality in the classics. Anyway.
The Amrita, I thought it was Homa or Soma.
Homa is the perfume of it.
Ah.
Yeah, the perfume.
Ah.
Okay, here it is. Asatoma satgamaya, tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityur mamritam gamaya. Simple and beautiful, and that's all phonetics that helps us through it. I've got a bit more on pronunciation here, but let me know if anybody's asking anything about it so far.
Oh yeah, hold on. I got they're not really asking questions. It's more like, whoa.
Yeah. Right,
yeah.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, you know what I mean. The gang is in here, man. They love you. They say they appreciate the teaching, Doc. You know what I mean? And they calling you Like I see you as a master teacher. I do. You know what I mean? And Angelic says it's a lot in the inflection. I tend to agree how a word sounds phonetically in the inflection of
the music of each language is different. The tones, the music of every language is different. And that's nothing we could do here now, but it's good to be conscious of it.
Yes. Yeah, correct.
I've got a couple of charts in front of me from Awaspe charts. And for example, I've got the names of the orcs and the cycles and the chiefs here in front of me in a chart, denoting the 7 eras of man. And all these complicated sounding names of chief gods. But okay, I'm just going to focus in on Noé, 24,000 years ago. This was the 5th era, and it was the Ark of Noé, and it was the 17th Danha cycle, and the chief was As. Okay? We all know As, the flood chief.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my point. It's called the Ark of Noé. It's spelled N-O-E.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not pronounced no. It's pronounced Noé. That E is there for a reason. This is phonetics. It's not silly orthography that's just going wild without any rhyme or reason. Phonetics accounts for every letter you see. So, and I assume this for Awaspe. So the Ark of Noé, N-O-E. And by the same token, in the next cycle, the chief was not Su, S-U-E, but say it for me. Say it for me.
Where is that? In the next cycle?
S-U-E. The cycle after us.
I say, this is what I say. I say Su, but I also understand how the ancient language was spoken, and that would have probably been Sua. Sue. You're right. Sue. Sue. Dang, hold on, wait a minute. Oh. Hold on, wait. You just opened up a whole wait a minute.
I'm telling you, it opens up.
Hold on, wait a minute. Sue. Okay. Go ahead, Doc. Oh man, you just blew my mind.
Well, I wish you would explain it to us.
No, many times, like an imprint of the God may be left on the planet and in the understanding of man today. So when you said Suwa, it recalled right back to the ancient animal call. Is this a representation of the time of Suwe that we getting back spiritually in just the understanding of dealing with animals? You dig what I'm talking about? Because in that time, right, in the era between the flood of Pan and the next era, which is Apollo, where man is shaped, man was still beastly. So he would call back to the beast times of man. So the name is literally the beast call. Sue.
Wow. And here's another point. We'll stick with that same root, Su, which we all know refers to spirit. And we find it in
hold on, wait a minute.
Like
I want to like Suis.
Okay, we find it in words like Suis, but we also find it in Asu man. And let me explain that. The ah is a prefix. It's not a root. The root is su. The ah is a prefix, and it just has a small meaning, which is both in the Phonetic and in English. It means the opposite of the root meaning. So asu was man without spirit. Without spirit. It's the literal translation of asu, man. We say in English, for example, apolitical. That means the opposite of political. You know what I'm saying? The A works. It still works. We still have that from Phonetic in our language. I was wondering, for just a quick review of the vowel sounds, if people could turn to a Samoan tablet, which is plate 62.
Hold on, let me try to catch up with you real quick.
Okay, no hurry.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta stop the screen. Plate 62.
Yeah, I should have mentioned that before.
Which one is that?
It's called Samoan.
Oh, the plate of Samoan.
The real big one. 121, 11 times 11. Symbols, the icons, and their translations.
Hold on 1 second.
No hurry.
Let me get to this real quick. Hold on.
And Brother Richie has been working on this all year. He's doing a new analysis of the Samoan tablet, and he's got it broken down into 3 parts. It's really interesting, but that's just by the way.
And this is, hold on 1 second. This is the Book of Safa. I want to hold on 1 second. Samoan. Okay. Hold on. Here we go.
Okay, so.
Hold on 1 second, y'all. Hold on 1 second, y'all. I gotta change the screen for y'all. Give me 1 second.
You're putting it on the screen?
Yeah, 1 second.
Nice.
Okay. Let me make sure y'all can see that. Let me go back. All right. Okay. Now this is the tablet of Samoan, 033 in the picture.
Does it have 121 symbols? Okay. I'm just going to go through the pronunciations, and I'll be reading from left to right, you know, the good old Anglo way.
Right.
Starting in the top left. So, is earth. O is the sky.
Now say that again. Hold on. It's ski. Pronounce it again.
I didn't get to the spay yet. Is the first one. You got that?
Yeah, I got
O.
O.
Esk. By the way, esk is the Phonetic word for number 1.
You're right about that. Yeah.
Esak. We're just doing this for pronunciation's sake.
Ayo. Hoi.
Cool. Yeah, I like that you repeat after me, so we hear it twice.
Drew.
AOE.
You say E-O-E.
Yeah, okay. some people pronounce EOI.
Ah.
It's not the sound of the wind. The sound of the wind is AOE.
LE.
The next one, LOE.
LOE. And many people who are abreast of the Haitian Revolution, right? The many of the priests and shaman of the Maroons and people who freed themselves from the subjugation of the French said they prayed to the Eloah or the Elohi.
Yeah, I've got something on that. I've got something on that right here. Somewhere. Oh, yeah, here it is. Here it is. Okay, so we'll interject this. According to legend, since the All-Highest could not or should not be openly named, there were times like that, we know from our thing.
Mm-hmm.
They called him after the sound of the whistling wind, felt but not seen. AOE, a secret name. This then became jehovih. Notice the vowels are all the same.
Uh-huh.
The consonants are added, but the vowels are all the same. Jehovih, which then turned into the Greek Jove, that was their high god, and the Judean Christian Jehovah, and they're all cognates. And here are a few more. In Quakiutl, which is a Northwest Indian tribe, the word for wind is Yue, and that's also a cognate. There are some changes in those sounds, but based on the AOE. In Polynesia and in South Africa, where the Bushman tribe is, the word for God is Huve.
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 Ooh, I feel it.
Okay. And in Indonesia, an oath is Huwe.
Huwe.
It's probably like when we say Jesus, you know.
Uwe.
You know what I mean?
Uwe.
Among the ancient Greeks, the sovereign of the universe was Bacchus, and his other name was Yahweh.
Oh.
One Native American.
Hold on, Doc. No. You gotta run that back one more time. Give us the Greek again.
Bacchus, whom the Greeks considered the sovereign of the universe, was called Yahweh. Y-A-W-E-H. Okay? Y-A-W-E-H. Yahweh.
Oh.
These are all cognates from AOE, the sound of the wind.
Oh.
Here's a Native American one. Yohewa.
Yohewa.
A Native American word for the creator. Yohewa.
Oh.
Here's an ancient Chinese word for creator. J-O-S.
J-O-S. And I see that they got the S in there still tying to the spirit. Oh my God.
Yeah. Check it out. I didn't see that. That's where the
Oh.
And one more Native American name for creator is Jehanoi.
Jehanoi. Oh.
And it's spelled Jehanoi. So if you don't have IPA, you won't be able to pronounce any of these words. And here are some more. Jehovah is Japanese for creator.
Jehovah is Japanese for the creator.
Jehoba, but that's a loan word.
Oh, okay.
You're pretty much content tell. That's a loan word.
Right.
And I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
Elohim is just another permutation of these same sounds. It's the Hebrew name of heavenly beings.
It's Eloah.
Elohim.
Elohim.
It means heavenly beings in Hebrew. Ego-quim.
Ego-quim. Hey, shout out to the Ego-quim, all the Algonquins in the United States. We love you over here, Creative Gang in the house. Shout out to the Ego-quim. I love you. Ego-quim. The great Algonquin. Go ahead, Doc. Go ahead, Doc. You get me started, Doc. Go ahead.
Well, it's a pretty long list, so I won't bore you with it, but I'm trying to drill these pronunciations into you, but since we're already an hour on, let me find out first of all if Brother Kente has joined us.
No, Brother Kente. I got the whatchamacallit for or anybody who got anything to add to the conversation. You dig what I'm talking about? Because Doc, you coming with it. You don't need no help. You don't need no help. You done already put my dang on hat on the floor. I damn it.
I need the input just like anybody else does, but I can't go on.
They say they not bored at all. Fire emojis. Like the name Choctaw, what does he say? What the brother Elijah say? Like the name Choctaw wouldn't be pronounced that, but indigenous language pronounce it Choctaw. Correct. You dig what I'm talking about? Wow, bro. Wow. You, Doc, okay. Oh, go ahead, Doc. Go ahead. I didn't even mean... You dig what I'm talking about? Hold on, Doc. You got to get a bomb or two. You dig what I'm talking about? We gotta give you a bomb or two, Doc. You dig what I'm talking about? You doing too much today. You doing too much today, Doc. You tearing them apart today. You dig what I'm talking about? You tearing them apart today, Doc. Oh my. Oh me. Oh my. Oh my.
Talk about that thing you mentioned to me about some of the Bayer material. I'm curious what you had to say about it.
I mean, you know what? I don't even really want to get on the low vibratory stuff right now. Doc, you vibing too high right now. I don't even want to talk about why the hell with what he talking about. He was wrong. Just know he was wrong. We'll get into this another day. He ain't talking about nothing. He drooging right now with that, what he's saying, because what you bringing out proves that what he's saying, because what he's saying is Safa is evil and we shouldn't use it. And the tree of language and all that stuff is evil and it's Masonic and it's blah, blah, blah. He wrong. This is a key. The doc is just letting you know. We've never been taught none of this. We ain't been taught none of this. Robert Baer is wrong when he says Safa is evil. If you using it as a tool for evil, well then guess what? It's evil. If you negative and you going into it blind and you going into it fearful and trying to do some stuff for self, well then yeah, Safa could be bad. It's just like a gun can be bad. But I bet you if you run up on a bear that's trying to eat you, you're going to wish you had one.
Right.
Is it evil then when it say your life? See, it's all about perspective, and don't let nobody give you their perspective. You go out and you prove it objectively, and we proving right now that objectively Robert Baer and his whole idea of Safa, or which is language or what comes from the tongue, is wrong. We proving it objectively. That right now, this is what Jehovah Chronicles is for. To get that higher light. We raised into 2048, 2052 right now. We gone. We're not trying to be bound here. We learning this information now, so we ain't got to go learn it in the higher heavens.
Right.
Huh? All that's just going to be applied to us. We're going to be able to have the run of what's below us. What? This is why you're going to be the God. God told you, true God told you, I'm your brother, not your father. I'm no more than what you going to be in time to come. How we get there, a part of the way of how we get there is understanding what the ancients was trying to tell us years ago. It's a reason that they wrote this stuff down.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was important.
And it's important to pronounce it right, because you get the vibe all wrong when it's mispronounced, especially when it's anglicized. I mean, respect, you know. I mean, I'm a language nut, so it's very close to my heart. And you were telling me that when you heard certain words mispronounced, it just bothered you.
Yeah, it didn't sit well. It didn't sit well.
Okay, so all we need to remember at this point is A, E, O, U.
And so we was breaking it down in the chart, Doc. You said we was at E, O, Y, or E, O, I.
A, not E, A.
E, O, E.
A-O-E, AOE.
AOE.
AOE, and it becomes jehovih.
AOE.
Yeah, people say, okay, here's one. People say jehovih. That's an anglicization. It's jehovih. It's jehovih, not jehovih. We're catering to the Anglo bias there, and I can't stand it. We need the international form. We need it now more than ever. We're coming into Cosmon.
True. We come to the first semi, Dan. Truth. That light is getting higher and higher and vibing higher and higher every day, y'all. This is why so much stuff is being revealed. They can't even hide the dirt no more. All the bodies is coming out the dirt.
And this is why the craziers are getting crazier. It's the two extremes on the change, and boy, things are really accelerating. I mean, we're practically in free fall.
So would you say, Doc? Would you say what we are actually watching today, right? The raising of the light, you know what I mean? The dying off of the dark. Would you call that, would I be wrong in saying that these are the death throes of religion?
That's so interesting you mentioned that. Yes, it's all a part of it. And I got to tell you that I noticed on Facebook, the people on Facebook, mostly brown-skinned people on the Facebook Faces page, I see such a strong reaction to the Christian teachings and feeling what's the right word, betrayed, misled, or whatever. It's very, very strong on the Facebook group, and it's so powerful. And that is, do you remember in Owaspi? I don't know the chapter or the verse, but do you remember in Owaspi where it says that one day the Lui among God, the Christ, is going to be hated more than any.
You're right. He's going to be the most hated. Yes. I believe that's in the book of S, where the judgment or God is true God is judging the four false gods or the beast, the religions of the world, in their four false gods, Luamong, Enochisa, Kabbalactus, and Thoth Gabriel.
Will be hated more than any of the false gods. And I see this manifest now on the Facebook group. I mean, I was never Christian, okay? I was brought up in a pretty, in a Jewish household, I was pretty agnostic, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I never had any religion put upon me, and I don't have any of this resentment, even though right now in the world it's difficult. But I see that resentment and that hatred coming through in this group, which makes me see that the prophecy is manifest now.
Right.
And nevertheless, I go by Vernon Washaw's date for the total collapse of the Christian false god, which he discovered from the tables at the end of Book of Cosmogony and Prophecy to be the year 2093. The ultimate. But I see it happening right now with that group. I never saw a group ever that was so vehemently aggravated and opposed to the false Lamb on God.
You want me to tell you why? Let me tell you why. Because we were so ingrained, embedded to love this deity, indoctrinated. We was getting beat. We was getting beat on, whipped on, and mistreated, and we was praising out the Jeebus the whole time. They sold us this pie in the sky. They sold it to my grandmama. That's why it's a hate. When I can't even tell you. When I really found out that I was duped, I was upset. I cried because not only was I duped, but the best woman I know in the world who would never tell me a lie duped me with this information. And the only woman I know probably better than her mama, my grandmama, duped her with the information, but her mama duped, and it was forced on us. We never praised that deity. They tricked us. They whooped us. They indoctrinated. They slaved us. They did everything in the world to us. So this is why the hate, the enmity for Luamang, because he's a devil.
I see it manifest now, but I also see that I just look forward to the day that we get past that, because I want the emphasis to be on the future, not the past.
But what you don't understand is we just the first fruit.
I know.
It hasn't even caught on yet. They still under the God spell right now. Our people haven't realized that we've been duped by religion.
I know, but I'm wanting us to free ourselves of this, so it doesn't shackle us anymore, and we can move on.
But you can't say it. You can't say that because that would be ideal. That would be ideal. But I'm gonna tell you, this thing is so visceral. They quoted just while they was whooping your grandmama ass. Had her all the way spread out there, embarrassed, looking crazy, whooping her. You dig what I'm talking about? He was quoting Bible verses.
So
you see what I'm saying? So
you're describing like a traumatized people.
What I'm telling you, we are traumatized, and the thing is, we haven't even, for the most part, realized it yet. So if you think the enmity is bad now, it ain't even started.
Yeah, that's true, because
we're just the first fruits.
Because of Vernon's target date for 2093, we've got a long way to go. But you see, I'm not under this. I wasn't brought up under any indoctrination except for leftist ideology.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But we were
humanitarian.
You got to think about it. Every brown person in America was. Every brown one, every one of them. Ain't no one.
All right, and listen, learning the proper vowel pronunciation is part of it.
Yes.
It's part of getting away from the anglicized hold on the entire world.
Talk to him, Doc.
This is the universal speech, and if I can go on, I will.
Talk to him, Doc. Go ahead, break it down. We was at Eloah on the chart.
Okay, we're gonna pretty happy with all those cognates that we found for AOE and jehovih. And I mean, I'm so delighted when Virginia used to pronounce it jehovih with the proper vowel sound at the end, jehovih. But everybody else says jehovih, and it's not jehovih. That's the anglicized version. But I want to move on to a different category of language study, and that is the cognates. Okay. And let me refresh your memory that a cognate is a word for where you find the same word in totally different languages, or maybe related languages, that has the same sound and also the same meaning. So, here's a good example. Here's a good example right here. Here's a panic word, mas, M-A-S, okay? Do you recall what it means?
Mas means, I know mas deals with the moon.
That's it.
Yeah.
Keep holy the 4 days of the moon. So these are the sacred days, and it was designated as mas in panic. Keep them holy, for they are the change of watch of the gods and angels, and so on and so forth. But I want to look at the word mas and then look at its cognates. Here's where we analyze different languages and what they have in common. The Catholic word mass, the origin of saying mass, that's explained in the book of Asang. The word mass, the Christian word mass, is cognate with the panic word mas. They're almost exactly the same word.
Mm-hmm.
And in Spanish, the word for moon is mes. Wait a second. Did I say that right? Yeah, mes.
Mm-hmm.
El mes. El mes is la luna.
Yeah, la luna.
No, it's a month. I didn't say that right. Mes is a month in Spanish. Mes is a month in Spanish, and that's cognate with mass from panic.
Right.
And Sanskrit word mas means moon. And so on and so forth. So that's an example of cognates in different languages. Now, I have a list here of, before I go on, I want to explain one thing. When you find cognates in two different languages, it could have two different explanations, at least two. They could, like mass, they could be, they could come from the mother language. You know, I think that the Spanish word for month, mes, comes directly from the panic, mas, which means the days of the moon.
Right.
Okay, it could come from the mother language. There's another way that cognates can come into a language, and that is called diffusion. Diffusion. That's the technical word for it, and that means loan words. For example, two cultures come in contact, and they they start to share words. That's called diffusion. Those are loan words. So when you find cognates in different languages, they could have the same common origin in the mother language, or they could be loan words. Those are two different origins of cognates. But one of the most interesting ones I just came across, because I've been rereading the book of Bond lately. I'm translating the story of Moses. I'm going to send you a copy.
Okay.
The beautiful story of Moses. But okay, in Bond, chapter 15,
hold on,
verse 27. Chapter 15, verse 27.
Hold on, let me get down to the Bond. I want to get down there with you in the Ark of Bond.
I don't even have it. I just have the page number. There's a reference to Agni,
Which verse? Which verse are you in?
27.
Oh, 27. And what?
I hope this is correct. Is there a reference to the burning bush? I'll just say what I have to say.
Go ahead.
Okay, we're dealing with the word Agni, which translates the Panic word Agni, which translates as fire.
Fire, yeah.
And I want to give you an English cognate now, which I think comes from the mother language. Ignite. I-G-N-I-T-E. Ignite comes from Agni.
I would have never put that together. Dang. I get it. Ignite.
I wonder if
Okay, so what I'm perceiving is, Doc. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, what I'm perceiving is that many times the vowels are interchangeable.
Yeah. Listen up. In Arabic, in the Semitic languages, the consonants, it's just the consonants that make the root.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the part of the word that has the meaning, not the suffix, but the root, the radical, is the part of the word that carries the meaning of the word.
Mm-hmm.
And in Arabic, it's all consonants like LB, Taliban. I think it has the words for knowledge, reader. I don't have any good examples in front of me, but the point is they use vowels to make it a verb, make it a noun, to change its grammatical use.
Mm-hmm.
But the consonants stand as the root of the word. So don't be surprised when you see the vowels changing a whole lot, because in some languages they perform a grammatical purpose. That's a little hard to explain, but did you ever find verse 27 in chapter 15, Juan?
Oh, it was chapter 15.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I didn't know what chapter we were going in. Let me get back to it. Chapter 15. Here we go, Doc. 1 second. I'm just trying to hold on, let me get down here. Chapter 15. 27, you said?
Yeah.
15 and 27.
Yeah.
The next day Moses walked out. Is that where you want to talk about? This is the Ark of the Bond, chapter 15, verse 27.
What does it say?
It says, the next day Moses walked out, going into the woods to be alone, for heavy trouble was upon him. And an angel of jehovih,
Go on.
appeared in a flame of fire in a bush, calling, Moses, Moses, my son. And Moses saw that the bush was not burnt and said,
right,
here I am, and I heard your voice.
Okay, that's good. I wanted that because Agni originally seemed to be that kind of holy fire that doesn't burn, some kind of spirit fire. And that was the original meaning, but it just came to have the general meaning of fire, and then it's cognated in English was ignite. I'm just trying to point out the similarities. And now I'm going to, let me see.
I wasn't even sharing that. My bad, y'all. I wasn't sharing that. But I'll just go ahead. Go ahead, Doc.
Okay, I have a little example here. I told you I have all these dictionary sitting on my desk here, right by my side, and I found between Hebrew and Spanish, I kept finding cognates between them, and I couldn't figure out if they were from the mother language or loan words. Which, you know, you got to know your history to figure out the loan words. But here's one example. I thought it was so cute. In Hebrew, the word for a tall tale is chizbat. Chizbat. Which struck me because I know Spanish, and the word for gossip in Spanish is chisme.
Chisme.
Chisme and chizbat. That was one example. Now, I think I have another one here. Oh, okay. I gave a presentation on conference call a couple of months ago on the words for corn.
Yeah.
And it was so interesting because it proves that the linguistic study proves that we here in Guatemala got our corn seeds from Pan. It's kind of a complicated argument, and it took a whole entire presentation, but I just want to mention that. So now here is a word in California that is almost the same word as in Samoa. The word for worm in California Indian language is gatuk.
Gatuk.
Gatuk, and in Samoa it's gata.
Gata.
The word for snake in one of the South American Indian languages is Dzul, and in Samoa it's Zua.
So they're just backwards. Instead of the D sound in the front, it's in the back in the other word. Is that? Say it again, so we can hear it.
The Samoan word is sua.
Sua.
And the South American word is zizu.
Zizu.
I thought they were cognates, but the next one is the Peruvian word for love. In the Peruvian language of the Andes is munai. And in Maori, in New Zealand, it's muna. So we have muna in New Zealand, in the Pacific, and munai in Peru. So,
that's not there's no coincidences. There's no way across the whole Pacific them people are saying the same words with the same understanding and meaning of the word. The word could just sound like another word, but they actually have the same meaning. There's no way that two people across the whole Pacific have the same word unless they got it from the same source previously to when we are now hearing it spoken on different sides of which is going to show the history and the hidden mystery, really, of Pan itself.
Yeah. So did it get to California and Peru because from the 5 fleets, or did it get to California and Peru from immigrations, which would make it diffusion, and which would make it loan words? You know what I'm saying? These histories can be studied, and the point I had made was that language is just as useful as archaeology and all that digging to get to past unknown histories. If a proper study were made, it's really very powerful. Here are a few more. Most of us know the word semu. It's in Oaxaca. S-E''M-U.
Semu.
And that's the word in Oaxaca. It refers to the seed of life. that did not originate on the earth, but rained down on the earth at a certain point in the history of the planet while it was still young.
Right, and this is the scientists semi understanding or theory on how life got to Earth. They call it panspermia. Ain't that funny that they call it panspermia? And then we're talking about simu, in fact, you know what I mean, which is they have a limited understanding because they don't understand cosmogony or how things work. So they think many of these things just pop up out of nowhere, you know.
Yeah, and you know, in the Book of Bond, where I was just rereading the Moses story, and when the locusts came down to suffer the Egyptian people, they came down without seed, and they made a point in a waspy of stressing that the locusts and the frogs and the reptiles came down from the sky without seed on earth. It just was rained down on the people and on the living. But anyway, what I'm trying to do here is a linguistic analysis. So, simu, you could translate it as the preceding substance of living, the green scum like algae or mosses which appear at the beginning of animal life in the Samoan age. I just want to show you some cognates, and I think these all come from the mother language. I don't think we owe it to loanwords, to the fact that we have words like, well, you just mentioned sperm. All you have to do is put a P after the S, and you have a cognate. That may have happened, but in English we have semen, male sperm, semen, S-E-M. There's your root word. We also have words like seminal, which means, you know, the beginning part of anything. Right. Even the word seminar, like a academic seminar, I think it comes back to that same
like a place of source. You dig what I'm talking about? Of male energy, also too.
Right.
Yeah.
The Spanish word to plant a seed is sembrar. Sembrar. So that's direct from Phonetic.
Yeah.
Also, the word alf. Alf.
Spell it, Doc.
A-L-F.
Oh, alf.
And it's a Phonetic word that translates as new beginning. And in the Is language, which was one of the Phonetic languages, you know, the Is, I-Z, Aleph means foremost. You see how the sound changes a little bit, but it's still recognizable. And the meaning changes a little bit, but it's still recognizable. The meaning having changed from a beginning to foremost. You see, when you say foremost, it's kind of like the alpha dog, okay? And the word alpha, of course, comes from the same, just as alphabet comes from it.
Alf. Whoa. Okay, Doc. You opening up some.
Here's some spiritual words that were retained in Pan. More done was the sacred circle in which people communed in the shape of a crescent, so that the Lord could come betwixt the horns. Now I want to point out some offshoots of that in the Hebrew language. The word tizmur means orchestration. Now you notice there are two syllables there, tiz and mur. So the mur comes from more done, the sacred circle of communion, and in Hebrew it means orchestration. Well, look at that. See how the meaning took on from the way we communed together, and it developed into the idea of orchestration. orchestration, working together. And there's another Hebrew word, the Hebrew word for arch, like like the architects, or even the word architecture.
Yeah.
The word arch, okay, the word arch in Hebrew is kim mur. Kim mur. So the mur comes from Mordan, the sacred circle, and the arch, check it out, shows the opening of the crescent. You see? The arch is circular.
Right.
It has the opening. And that crescent where the Lord could come in was remembered there in the Hebrew word. And finally, in the Druid system, which was a very religious system, their word for great circular assembly and worship was Mord Hal. So the Mord.
The Mord still.
Mord part. You see how the vowel changed from a U to an O? That don't matter. Vowels change all the time. But you can recognize the consonants, at least, as showing that these are all related terms. Here's my favorite one. I did a lot of research on Mesoamerica when I was writing my books, and you know how many places in Mexico have the Tech on the back of the names, like Aztec and Mixtec and Ahuantec.
Yeah.
Azteca. There's 100 of them.
Right.
I don't have them here in front of me, but okay, this is so interesting. Tech. What does tech say? What does it mean when you say it to the man on the street? What does it mean?
Okay, a tech is can be really two things. A tech can either be a gun or a tech can be a foul. A tech can be a foul. I also understand, but no. I don't want to cut your bill. Go, Doc. Go.
Okay, so here's the thing. It just hit me like a ton of bricks when I finally realized what was going on with all these place names in Mexico with the tech at the end, like the word Azteca. It's exactly the same as English. When we say tech, it's short for technology. And okay, here we go. It turns out all these locations where they have tech on the name of the place are places that built the pyramids and built this and built that and had the knowledge and had the tech to build up a huge society like the ones they're digging up in Guatemala right now.
Wow, I didn't put that together.
It really hit me. And I've got it in Hebrew also. Listen to this. I think this it's in Hebrew and it's in Mesoamerica. So something tells me it comes from the mother language. In Hebrew, check this out, it's so cute. The word tic-tac means to type, at a typewriter. And the word tek-uma in Hebrew means repair or improve. And the word rit-tek means weld, W-E-L-D. So that tech thing is strong in Hebrew, it's strong in Mesoamerica, and it's strong with us right now as our word for technology. While you're open to Bond, can you open to Bond 1418?
Hold on. Let me go back. You say 14 and 18?
Chapter 14, verse 18.
Okay, then. I'm here right now.
Can you read it?
Okay. Book of the Ark of Bond, chapter 14, verse 18 says, now at the time of the birth of Moses, there were 13 million inhabitants in Egypt. And of these, 4 million were faithists or Israelites, more or less. For among the Israelites, not all were of full faith, but many, to shirk the rigors of the son laws or the laws of the kings of Egypt, professed to be worshipers of God Osiris. They just said they was. Basically, we see this in modern times. We call these conversos.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And who go on to be the Huguenots.
Christopher Columbus was a converso.
Exactly. Okay. So it says to shirk the rigors, these Israelites, to shirk the rigors of the sun laws, profess to be worshipers of Osiris. And they would also enlist as soldiers and otherwise connive in the ways of men for the sake of favors. So we see that in modern times in America, in the founding of America. So,
I'm trying to get to the part about the ode. Is it in that verse? The
ode. You talking about the time? The ode? I don't.
Okay. Since we don't
I know
have
what
it,
you're talking about.
Give a thumbnail shot. The ode. Oh gosh, it's explained there, and I forget how it's explained. But let me tell you that the word ode, which came from Phonetic, and was used by the descendants, turned into the English word odious.
Right.
Odious, like hateful, and it's explained in one of those verses in Bond 14, chapter 14. I don't have it, but you see how the meanings can change almost drastically.
You say, okay, hold on. You said it was in 14. I didn't see it. I was trying to pull up the odic rate.
But let's not waste time searching for it.
Okay.
I can move on to a summary I have here to sort of summarize what I think is important about language study. And I realize that some people who are here with us today are interested in language, and some of them aren't. But it's just for general knowledge, and OWASP can help us a lot with this. The first point I want to make about language study is about phonetic symbolism. We say phonetic symbolism when a sound portrays the idea you're trying to get across.
Oh, you know what? It was my bad. I'm sorry. But I think this will help you get what you want across. I'm sorry. It's 14 and 4.
Don't be sorry. I need your input right now.
Yeah, it's 14 and 4 because I think this will help explain with what you're going to say. You know what I mean? Because it lines perfectly up. I see what you're saying. Why you wanted to show this now. This is Book of the Archibald is 14 and 4, not 14 and 18. It's okay. This is dope. Check this, y'all. Dig this. This is dope. For events of prophecy, there was also another calendar called the Ode, signifying sky time or heavenly times, or what we could also call astrology. Right?
Okay.
One ode was equivalent to 11 long years. 3 odes, which is one spell, signifying a generation. So 33 years is a generation, and it is also 3 odes, right? 3 11s, right? Thothma, the learned man and builder of the Great Pyramid, had said, as a diameter is to a circle, and as a circle is to a diameter, so are the rules of the seasons of the earth. For the heat or the cold, or the drought or the wet, no matter which, the sum of 111 years is equivalent to the sum of another 11 years. Now remember, this is applying to prophecy.
Yeah.
This is why Book of Cosmogony and Prophecy tells you that prophecy is not guesswork. There are absolute rules that run this. Ain't no faking. And if you was ever off, that just proves you fake. We're not guessing. It's a one spell, right, is equivalent to the next 11th spell. And one cycle matches every 11th cycle. Moreover, will apply these, whoever will apply these rules to the earth shall prophesy truly regarding drought, famine, and pestilence, except where man contravenes by draining or irrigation. And if he applies himself, or what we would commonly call today terraforming, and if he applies himself to find the light in the darkness of the earth, these rules are sufficient. For as there are 363 years in one tuft, so are there 363 days in 1 year, besides the 2 days and a quarter when the sun stands still on the north and south lines. Facts. Dang.
You know, this is what we were doing yesterday on Facebook when I mentioned Bond 14, those verses, and you went ahead and supplied some of the research, and you found that a tuff ago, 363 years ago, from the year 2023, you found the French going on with the French colonists, colonialists. You found King Charles II, and you found great fires in Turkey. Now, the French are immediately connected with what's going on with the xenophobic Frenchmen, leading the charge against immigrants in Europe today. They're leading Europe in that. And then the King Charles thing, that's so interesting because we've got they had King Charles II.
We got King Charles III.
That's it. That's it. And he's also part. King Charles III is. I have a little input on him. He's also part of limiting the population and limiting the immigration, and even the chopping up of Jamal Khashoggi by MBS relates to some of that material you found in the earlier tuff. And the great fires in Constantinople one tuff ago. Greece is burning up. Have you looked at the news?
Yeah, man. Greece is on fire. That's crazy.
So these are the kind of things we can do with the prophecy if we can make head or tail out of it. But should we get back to language?
Go ahead.
Okay, so there's phonetic symbolism. Orthography explains, even from the beginning, I created man that he should learn to be an independent being. And my angels taught man speech, making him name all the animals in the world after the names the animals call themselves. You know, and one of the examples is hiss. And I think hiss, you know, they spell it Hiss.
SS, yeah.
I think that relates to the serpent in some of the vocabulary. Oh yeah, here's a good one. Here's a good one for phonetic symbolism. Git, you know the word git is for moonlight.
Right.
But the word got is for full moon. So what changed there? The only thing that changed was the vowel. It changed from an I to an O.
Oh.
Git changed from git to got. And that's phonetic symbolism because the E sound is very small. The tongue is right close to the palate when you pronounce the letter E, the vowel E. But when you pronounce the vowel O, the mouth is more open and the tongue is away from the palate. And that is phonetic symbolism. Yeah, listen, here's an example in Spanish. Barriga in Spanish means stomach.
Barriga.
Barriga. But if you want to talk about someone with a big stomach sticking out, it's barrigón. You add the letters G-O-N, and that O is phonetic symbolism portraying the largeness.
The largeness, the fullness, yeah. So almost like the fullness of the full moon, or the I shortness, or like a half moon, or something representing smaller.
That's how it works, yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
In representation of the moon, they tied the moon to the language. These people are in. Listen, the more I look back, see, do you agree with this, Doc? That there is in science right now a consensus that when you say ancient, they instantly equate that to ignorance. Do you find that in your studies? That they think that the farther we go back, the dumber the people get?
I don't know, but I think you have a point.
Yeah, because they're wrong.
Actually says, think not that the ancients are smarter than us, or that we are smarter than the ancients. You know that verse I'm talking about?
He said they were perfectly made for their time, just like you're perfectly made for yours.
Yeah. Here's some more phonetic symbolism. English words that start with SPR: spread, spray, sprinkle, sprout. They are all phonetically symbolic because the spr sound, the way it comes out of the mouth, has that same spreading quality to it. And there's a lot of that in English, and there's a lot of that in every language. So that was point number one. But I'm going to go on to point number two to realize when you're looking at language and trying to figure things out. And this is called metathesis. That is the formal word for when vowels or consonants change place. Okay? And here's an example so you can see what I'm talking about. You'll find in Safa the word aboda. Aboda is A-B-O-D-A. And that means to labor or make brick. And that's from Is, which was one of the dialects of Pan. Aboda. Now, what does that remind you of? If the D and the B change places, adobe. Sun-dried brick houses in the Southwest. Yeah. Adobe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Buckle up. Here's a cognate in Nigeria. Are you ready? town building is Obodo.
Oh.
Obodo. And that's closer to the panic than the southwest Adobe, which Metathesis, it's just a cognate.
Odobo.
Means Obodo.
Obodo.
Obodo means town building in Igbo.
Hey, listen, this thing was worldwide.
Yeah.
Which means it had, if it was worldwide at one time, that means it had to come from one source. I believe, and I would tend to show with my scientific proof and what Owaski is showing me that place is Pan, not Africa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's Pan. You dig what I'm talking about? It's not even the Americas.
Yes.
It's Pan.
Let me read some notes I have here on that very topic. The original unity of mankind. Here's a verse from Safa B 2.6. Even the words of man in ages past shall be revealed to my seers in the time of Cosmon. Okay, so according to the Holy Bible, the Ezra Bible, quote, the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. That comes out of Genesis 11, verse 1. And here's a similar concept from the Popol Vuh, which is the Bible of Mesoamerica, of Mexico and Guatemala. And this is quoting from the Popol Vuh. Oh, by the way, Vu and Vohu, they have the same parent. Vu, Popol Vuh. It's the voice of whatever, a Popol, that might be the voice of the people. Okay, here's what they said in the Popol Vuh. They had a single language, quote unquote. And here's another quote from the Sumerian epic of Enmerkar. Enmerkar, quote, once the whole world in one tongue gave voice. And the same is said in Awashbe in the Lord's first book, 1.74, that 24,000 years ago, quote, the world was of one language and one speech. In all places of the chosen people, they spoke alike, person to person, end quote. You know, I had a little trouble with that verse. I was trying to figure out exactly, and you know what I ended up, how I interpret that verse? Because I've been studying the mother language and trying to put some stuff together about it. And this verse seems to say that the Ehan people, the Faithists, 24,000 years ago, wherever they lived, spoke the same language. But it made me think that the other tribes had indigenous languages.
Now, what was that verse you was coming from in the first book of the Lord's?
The Lord's first book, 1.74.
Oh, 174.
The world was of one language and one speech. In all places, the people, they spoke alike, person to person. But it seems to be that they're talking about the chosen people who spoke alike. And I'm wondering if this does not include the indigenous languages. So I had a little trouble interpreting that, but let me see. I just wanted to make the point that even today, many different languages share not only common words, but common motifs and similar accounts of the flood. And here's a quote from the Lord's first book, chapter 1, verse 61. The chosen shall manifest many signs and words common to one another in these different divisions of the earth, and they shall remember the flood. See, it says there that the chosen shall manifest. So I got the feeling that linguistically, language wars, there were other languages going on, but it was the Sapiens who had the common mother language.
And this is why we see the commonality all around the world.
Right, because a lot of it was retained.
Because it came from one source. My ideal is, and I think this is why the birth of languages like Phoenician, right, is irregardless of where you were at one point on the earth and maybe your inflection or your diction, you spoke one language. And the man in, let's say, Northeast Africa could have easily spoke to the man in Northeast China. You know what I mean? They would have easily been able to speak at one point because they come from an older source where the language would have been for a very long time exactly the same, irregardless of how you spelt it. It would have sounded exactly the same phonetically.
Excellent point. That's exactly right, and that has happened. They speak of Irishmen who went down into the tribes in Brazil and could speak together.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, to prove it here, when you hear in North America, when you hear the first time Cortez meets
Montezuma.
Not Montezuma. He meets Black Panther, the son of Tecumseh, not Tecumseh, but oh wow, his name means giant black warrior. He was the ruler of Alabama.
Are you talking about one of the Indian chiefs?
Yeah, in Alabama. His name is wow. He ruled in Alabama.
The Creek.
Yeah, but what is his name? His name is. Well, oh wow, it's slipping my. It'll
come to you right after we hang up.
And that's just how it do too. But his name was Tuscaloosa. My bad. His name was Tuscaloosa, which means giant black warrior. Now, when the Spanish came in to meet him, yeah, he was from the Tuskegee people, but his name was Tuscaloosa. Before they met Tuscaloosa, he met Black Panther, right? His son, Tuscaloosa's son. Now, what the Spanish say about Black Panther was when they seen him, a dark-skinned American Indian in Alabama, was that he was the biggest man they had ever seen, ever. They call him, scientists guess that he is anywhere from about 7'9" to about 8'5", right?
Let's get as long as we're on it, let's get the correct pronunciation of those tribes. The Asu, the Ihin, the Ihuan. That's what they were. They were very tall. Mm-hmm. And lots of the American Indian tribes recall that their ancestors were gigantic.
Yep.
In fact, we talked about this one time before, and there was a period of gigantism in the zoology.
Early.
Planet,
early.
Very early time.
Yeah, early. And
the beavers were the size of a horse.
Easy. I'm saying even down into I would say to the times of by this time they were wearing out, but to the turn of the common era, 0 AD, these very large men were still on the earth. I'm saying
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, dudes like Charlemagne.
We still have giant people.
Yeah.
We still have players.
And they little, but to us, they, you know what I mean? But could you imagine your woman being that tall? On average, 7 foot.
Look at Brittany. She's 6'9".
Yeah. I mean, that would have been a small woman. Back in these times, she would have been small. You got to remember, these people, these Ahuans are pushing 8 feet easy. And if you go back,
honey, Ihuan,
right? Ihuan.
Right.
Well, correct me then. Right. Correct me on up. This is what we hear. Ihuan. The Ehuans, if you, and this is, let's just say that let's just show the difference from the time of, let's say, Abraham in 1553, of that Persian Shemitic Negroidal stock of people over there that go on to be called Israelites, right? At 1553, Moses, per se, or Amenemhat IV, would have been roughly at that time about 8 feet tall.
They said he was a tall man.
He was roughly about 8 feet tall. But hold on. If you go back 2,400 years, 3953 BC, beginning of the 23rd arc cycle after the creation of man, and look at Abram. Abram was about 10 feet tall regularly. These was the regular people out here in the world. This is regular. This is only 4,000 BC. This is 6,000 years ago.
So why did we shrink?
Loss of oxygen, the ability to who could reproduce. Many of the giant people ran off a giant system, just like the animals. And when there's less oxygen in the air, right? Because right now, a lot of people don't know our atmosphere, right? Our oxygen that we breathe in every day, right? Our atmosphere is only 19% oxygen. 71% of our atmosphere is nitrogen. So if you imagine how big things were when the oxygen was at 50%. So then, so let's go back and crank that. Go ahead, my bad.
I have noticed that they say that tall men, very tall men, suffer a lot of problems with their legs and circulation and so forth. I know that Lincoln did. He was 6'4", the same as Newborough was, and so that would put the kibosh on their reproductive powers if they became sickly by being too tall and not having enough oxygen. I see what you're saying.
Yep. And then this is also why you got to understand what's really going on with the physiognomy of man or physiology of man at the time. If you are physically larger, the things that make you up are physically larger too. So that means you have a pineal gland that's probably the size of a peach. On a 12-foot man. You dig what I'm saying? This is regular. This is everyday regular. And then, listen, they say this boggles my mind. And 7,000 BC, this is only 9,000 years ago, they said Zarathustra was the tallest man in his area or in the world at that time, but he was 3 men tall.
Oh my God.
So that depends. So now we're looking back. We know Abram and them in 4,000 BC is still already 10 feet. So are you talking 3 of those men, or are you talking about 3 modern men?
3 modern men.
Okay, so let's say that's 16, that's 6 feet right there. So you talking about Zarathustra in 7,000 BC is over 18 feet tall. Holy schnigglebugle. And you gotta understand what you're saying. He has to be proportionately working. He is a very large, perfectly built, large man. This is not no beastly. He not beastly no more. He a man. He's fully Homo sapien, right? But he's not Homo sapien.
And I think the importance of what you're saying is that science has not taught us the different atmospheres that we have lived in on this earth, and therefore to understand the concept of semu, the seed coming from drop raining on the earth. I think that's so important that they don't understand how creation was possible by the Creator, because they don't understand that the atmosphere was different.
Correct.
The Creator couldn't create these things now because the atmosphere is different, like you were describing.
Yeah.
Was only possible in the Samoan age.
Yeah. And then in the proof of that is when you understand semu, that semu is an area of congealed corporeal substance caught in a dense gel-like solution, right? It's heat in there, it's life in there, it's warmth in there, it's water in there, but most importantly, caught in what helps dense this area is oxygen, right? And you can this from this point right here, you can prove the beginning of animal life from the pre-beginning of plant life, and they call it the Cambrian. Right? They think it's this millions of years ago incident, but it's not. It's not.
What is it?
It's hundreds of thousands of years. That's it. The Cambrian started only roughly 96,000 years ago. And the proof of it is plants grow off everything that kills man. We see that plants in pre-Cambrian grew to massive sizes. Why? Because the gases in the air were carbon monoxide, everything that kills man, right?
Yeah.
At the introduction, right, of oxygen into our atmosphere, right, these crushing gases were smashed into the earth. So now it doesn't necessarily need to reach to the air, right, to pull for its substance. Plants grow into the ground to pull the stuff that they need, and they pull byproducts and of carbon dioxide and all that stuff that's actually in the air, but they feed from the ground, and the ground is made up of the crushing materials, right? The destroying materials. You dig what I'm saying? You put man in a thing full of helium, it kills him. But you need or nitrogen or potassium or phosphorus. You dig what I'm talking? And those things that kill man, those three right there alone, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, grow all plants. So we know what was in the air. So that's why we know that's what's in the ground. And the introduction or the time of creation was when oxygen was entered into our atmosphere, because and with along commingled with oxygen, right, on the planet was corporeal substance with ionic infinitesimal seed,
and that's
microscopic seed already in it. Everything was in it already. So if it landed on the water, it became a fish or a type of sea animal. If it landed on the ground, it turned into a plant or an animal. of some sort. But when it first came down to answer the question, which came first, the chicken or the egg, the chicken did. Because it came down a whole chicken.
I always say that.
It came down a whole chicken. A chicken has never been a pterodactyl. No, a chicken has been a chicken. Just like a dog has been a dog, and has never been a wolf.
That's right.
You dig what I'm talking about?
I do.
So the introduction or time of creation comes at what they would say was the Precambrian era, or the beginning of the Precambrian. You dig what I'm talking about? We see animal life. I mean, unbelievable life come onto the planet. You dig what I'm talking about? And some last, some don't. But we find out that at 24,000 year intervals, the Earth drops in temperature. And at these Glottal degrees, right, we can trace the time or the optimal time for man, plants, and animals to be up on the earth. And right now, what we find is we are halfway through that inhabitable age called the Eoptian or optimal time. I bet you that op is a panic word too. That prefix, that
I think it means maximum.
That's why I like having smart friends. we can't do it without each other, Doc.
Yeah, I think your oxygen thing is really important for explaining creation.
Yeah, you gotta have the source. It gotta be here. And at the time, it wasn't here. So how does it get here? Simu. Or what science tries to explain is Semu. Right? I'm saying it right. Semu.
Yeah.
Semu. Okay. Yeah, Semu. And that with Semu or galactic semen, right? This is what we're talking about. We're talking about planet seeding. This is the substance. Didn't it say the earth conceived? So to be conceived, she must first be impregnated.
Yes.
And for a 24,000 year period, it was optimal to bring animal life and man life onto the planet for 24,000 years. And during that last 6,000 years, we find the perfection of man, or we find the first birth of the proto-hominids or Asuan types, the proto-Asu. And then we find 3,000 years later, the finished off hominids or Asu himself, the later versions of what we call the hominids, once they became more stable and what survived, right? They go on to, and this is where I believe the A and B blood types come from. I believe they're the first two, the proto-Asuan and the final later version Asu, right? Before the birth of the Ian or the Ian. You dig what I'm saying? Before the birth of the Ian, that 6,000 years or that so-called 6 days of creation, right? I think in that time, the A blood type is proto-Asu. Then we come to the B blood type, the finished Asu. This is the man who goes on to go extinct. You know what I mean? That blood type. But then after that, we see AB blood types. And then I think right there, we find this is where the O, ABO comes from, right? Because after that, we find a genetic called C. We find an allele. We got the A allele, the B allele, and the C allele. We don't find the C allele anywhere on Earth except in man.
Where?
In man. We know it's there because it's in man. We see the CLE, but it's nowhere else. It's nowhere else. It's not in animals. It's not in plants. It's not in anything else. So we don't find its source on Earth. But right after that, C allele is introduced into the AB lines. We have the dominant species come up on the planet, or O, original blood. And this is where the ABO comes from, but we don't find C. It's there, you know what I mean? But we don't find it anywhere in nature. And so I believe though, and that is called the Eve genetic. And it's funny that every ancient religious story talks about angels coming down interbreeding with man.
Right.
And now we have a genetic that we know had to be a man. Asu was a man. He may have been beastly, but he was a man. So they had to be of the same species to even interbreed, to go on to produce children that could go on to reproduce.
That's right.
Right? So that debunks evolution right there, right, alone. But they had to, the C allele or the Eve allele is introduced, but we don't find it. But we, right after that, we find true Homo sapien, right? True man, early called the Ian, or the men of light, the Ian. You know what I mean? And those are your first humans, truly thinking people with ability. The Bible call them able. You know what I mean? So and then from down there, I think the intermixing and all that stuff, and because you was mixed up and admixed with somebody, you is what you is today. That's
it's all
it.
a mixture.
Yeah, we all are mutts.
We all mutts.
All of us. You dig what I'm talking about? Ain't nobody know 100% nothing. Nothing. That's, if that's what you thought. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm all American Aboriginal Indian. No, you ain't. You got older roots.
We're 100% mixed.
All of us. You can take any test you want. You can even, I understand culturally and even genetically, you are something different. Aboriginal of American. You can just phenotypically look and culturally look and heritage look, and something happened to you different than the people who look like you around the world. But you're still a man. So that means 99% of what's going on with you is going on with everybody else in the world. You different, you're just not better.
That's right.
You dig what I'm saying? That's what's really going on, and that's what we got to get past. We got to get past this hatefulness. We got to get past this big you, little me stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You said something to me a while back, and I never forgot it, and I'm using it to make my point. You said it in 3 simple words. Hate is learned.
Yeah.
It's learned, and we're in a situation of unlearning now, big time.
Big time.
And some of us want to, and some of us don't. And that's where the dividing comes in, because there's no reconciling between these differences. We just have to separate, and that's exactly the prophecy that Awaspe gives us.
Yeah.
The separating. Yeah, we into our own kind, our own. What do they say? People who think alike, people who want to live in the same way, and the forces, the powerful forces of hate that are rising now, they are separate from us and never will reconcile with us, and we have to let them spin out their own game.
Yeah, they gotta play their game. You dig what I'm talking about? They gotta go through what they go through. Many times in Owaspy speaks of people who go out in darkness. You see what I'm saying? And that is, and many times that is beginning with genetic breeding, but that is because of actions done. You see what I'm saying? Low people breed low people. High vibrating people breed even higher vibrating people. You see what I'm saying? God said today, by the way, who is a woman. It is a goddess today, not a god. I ain't talking about, you dig what I'm talking about, that God is the creator. No, I'm talking about the ruler of heaven and earth. The heaven and the earth that's attached to that heaven, right? Which is called today earth. It is a woman who run that. Her name is Shesivi Antitotis. And
say that again.
Shesivi.
Who is the god of earth now? Oranathan?
No, Shesivi is the antitoter of Oranoten. She is the person who is enacting the light of the throne, Oranoten. A female, Shesivi, who is the antitotis, who see antidote, what the book or with the word Oranoten means is light of the throne, but light of the throne could be correlate to modus operandi. It is how God is going to move in Cosmon. It is the marching order. It's what he's going to do. That's what the Oranoten is. A antitoter or an antitotis, a male or female who is acting out Oranoten. Her name today is Shesivi. She is true goddess of the earth today and will be for the next 3,000 or 29,000 2,925 years.
Is that an Owaspy name or?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Check out the book of S. She is who inspired Lincoln.
Oh.
Yeah, her name's Shesivi. She is God for the next 3,000 years. You know how they switch on and off. You dig what I'm talking about? So right now, in fact, till 2047, till she, true ruler of the Cosmon era, sends boats to harvest the people who are crossing over to brides and bridegrooms in 2047. That's what's happening. Nothing spooky. You dig what I'm talking about? That's what's happening in the 200-year arc. That's what's going on. You dig what I'm saying? She the one said, true God today, in fact, is a female. She has her subordinate on the throne, who may be anybody. Who knows?
I have no problem with that.
That's what Owaspy say. It's not what I'm making up.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't believe that. This is what Owaspy say. I don't believe none of that. I just prove it out by showing it out. And let me just hold on. Let me stop sharing this real quick, and I'll show the timetables of prophecy real quick. Let me stop showing that and go back in here real quick. Let me get back. Okay, here we go. 1 second, y'all. I want to show y'all what Cosmon talking about, right?
Yeah.
I want to get back in there so I can let the doc run, you know. But
that's okay.
We are in the 25th arc cycle, right? 175 years past 1848, which is 2023. A 3,000 year span of time, right? From 1848 to 4848, called the Cosmon era, right? Now, I want to blow this up for y'all so y'all can see that this is the Ethereum. See, this is the arc, right? This is mine, right? Who is the Ethereum that runs, for instance, let's say during the 17th arc cycle of Noah, Af was the Ethereum who is an Orion chief, right? During the time of the flood, right?
Yeah.
Right. Af is that chief. Well, let's drop down here to the 25th arc cycle, right? Called Cosmon. The ruler of the ark is Shesivi, Antithotis, goddess of the 7th era present time. I'm showing it on the screen, the timetables of prophecy.
Nice.
Yeah. Shout out to Demon for breaking this down too and bringing this stuff out. And I also would like to let y'all know right here that when you look at this and you see down here at this 32 mark where it say extinction, that's not actually where it happened. Right? Remember, we here in the 25th. If you that's only 7 arcs. You got to go through 1, 2, or 8, you can say. Right? That's only 24,000 years. We got another 72,000 till extinction. So this actually comes way down here in the 96th, 76th, 78th or 72nd arc. Way down here. You got to go 40 more arcs down here to get to the 70 and actual extinction of man. All right, because remember, we right here. This is the only next 22,000 years. So there's another 50 after this, but that ties into the book of cosmogony and prophecy. It's not the whole Eoptian age. Just wanted to bring that out. But go ahead, Doc, man. You on point. You are on fire. You are on fire today.
I'm pretty much wiped out. I can try to conclude with some comments.
Right. Give us what you got, Doc. We appreciate you for coming through.
The place I left off was at Metathesis, where when a word passes from one language to another, some of the vowels might change places, and the example I gave was aboda and adobe. Now here's an interesting one in that category. The word for time. I couldn't find the Panic word for time, but in my dictionaries here, I found the Basque word for calendar was egutegi. And then I found, when I was studying Igbo in the Nigerian language, the word for time is oge. So I'm breaking the Basque word for calendar down to 2 parts, egu and tegi. That's how the word reads, egu, tegi. Now the egu part sounds something like the Igbo word oge, and that means time, and the egu means calendar in Basque. So that's a case of metathesis, if you can follow me, because look at the vowels in Igbo, oge, and the vowels in Basque, egu. The vowels change places, o, ge, and a, gu. So they switched places, but it looks like a connection to me, and I'll be darned if I can find the connection between the Basque language and Igbo in southwest Nigeria. I guess you all know the Basque people are in an enclave in Pyrenees Mountains between Spain and France, and they have a different blood type than the rest of Europe, and they have a different language. So they're the only people in the European continent who do not speak a Indo-European language, and that has always made it a point of fascination to me. And so I got the dictionary and started studying and looking for connections. But my theory about the Basque is that they were the earliest anatomically modern people in Europe. And I don't know exactly how to place them, but I know if you find out more about the Basque, it will answer a lot of mysteries.
Well, we find the Basque. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Including why they have words in common with Nigeria.
Well,
although, see, there's a possibility of diffusion because Spain is very close to the connecting over the water, connecting to North Africa.
Right.
Connecting to what is that? North Africa there. So there's no telling whether that's a case of diffusion, loan words, or both coming from the mother language. But the Basque has always fascinated me.
Well, no, I want you to go ahead, Doc. Go ahead. We'll talk about the Basque later because I got a little info on the Basque.
I'm pretty much. I have a few other cognates. I'll just run this down, and that'll be the last of it for me. Now, all these changes I've been talking about, you will find that when historians go over the same material, they tend to call these changes corruptions. They tend to use the word corruptions when a dialect changes the sound of a word. But I don't like that word. It's the wrong word. There are natural changes in dialects, and it looks like I have an example here in my book on Pan. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, yeah. I did a lot of studies on the word Ihin, the name of the sacred tribes of little people. And here's what I said. Not every tribe could pronounce Ihin. In some dialects, the aspirate H became a lateral R. Okay, let's say their dialect just didn't have an aspirate H between vowels, so they put in an R instead. So, among the Tupis of Brazil, a man named Irin Magé was the sole survivor of a violent inundation. And that links Noah to this Irin Magé, and ultimately to the Ihens. If you welcome these revelations about how consonants can change, they're not corruptions, but they're changes that take place depending on what a dialect can pronounce. And of course, it's the Ihens who alone survived the flood. In Spain, the feminine name Irina, which is the same as our name Irene, guess what it means? It means peace. It means peace. That's the way it translates. And that comes directly from the people of peace, the little people, the nonviolent society.
So that H was getting it seems that in Europe at least, that H that H sound was getting replaced with an R. So I-in would become I Irene or Irene would become from
Ari. It's not I-hin, it's E-hin.
Irene.
E-hin.
Ian, right, becomes Irene.
Yeah, but look how English changed it. When we said Irene, we pronounced it that way. That's the Anglicization. But I'm trying to get the international sounds involved here. There's also an island called, off Brittany, there's a little island called Gavrini. And they have concentric designs, the hinkwas, which we know of from Olaspe, in the megalithic art, and it's thought to be part of a cult honoring a powerful goddess whose stone idols are also found in Spain. So is it a coincidence that on the sacred island in the Pacific, the island of Raiatea, the word Nairi means nymphs of power? Nairi, nymphs of power. You see how each culture makes those little changes, and they add the nuances from their own traditions. You see what I'm saying? But you can see through that when you know that there's a linguistic connection. In the Aegean Isles, the ancient name of a Bronze Age settlement was Aia Irini. Today it's called Kea, and this place was the home of poets, philosophers, and physicians, clearly indicating an elect seat of intelligence. As seen again in Huj Irina, which was an Assyrian center of learning. My books are just full of these linguistic connections because that's my bent.
Facts.
But you can trace the value of learning how to pronounce it is there because then you can begin to trace things and recognize little changes that have taken place from one clime to the other, but they all come from the common source.
It's crazy. You were speaking on the Inqua or the word.
Yeah, that's a megalithic art where they show concentric circles in the cave art and stuff like that.
A world inside a world. So I was showing them the ball inside the circle, and right next to it in Owaspy is the Gitsang, or what we call the Star of David. You know, the Gitsang.
Yeah.
Gitsang.
The interlaced triangles.
Yeah.
Triangles that the prophets interlocked by
magic. That means as above, so below. It means the three intertwined. This is or yo. This is el.
Okay.
This is creator, or a sign of the first god of the earth. Seth on T's, the triangle. They gave him the triangle, and out of the understanding the 3 in 1, you dig what I'm talking about? The true Trinity. The true Trinity. We get the Gitsang, or the earth, the sky, and the spirit. And or you can even take it to the higher realms, and you got corporal, spirit, and ether. Or soul, spirit, ether. Because they say soul is really just a higher form of your spirit. They're two parts. You know what I mean? And out of that ether, he split spirit into a higher form, which is you. That's what your personage come out of, and that it rides in your soul. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah. And so that's that world inside the world again, Inqua, which is the meaning of the word of Gitsang. That's just crazy. This is nuts. This is why I love language so much. This
I know it.
this is why. And listen, it refutes everything Robert Bear is saying. Everything, man. Y'all just be careful, man. Who y'all, take it all with a grain of salt. You know what I mean? If
Right.
y'all want to look at this is book of Fragopity, or Fragopity. That's how I was taught to pronounce it. How do you say it? Because I know people who say Fragapati, and I know people who say Fragopity. Well, how do you say it?
I say Fragapati, but something I noticed about the Hindi, the language of India, is that they don't tend to put the accent on any particular syllable. Every syllable has it seems to have equal accent. So in that case, it would be Fragapati, Fragapati, Fragapati. There's no underestimated syllable and no heavily emphasized syllable. That's what I noticed about the Hindi language, but every language is different when it comes to the emphasis and the tones and the music that's in each and every language different.
Yeah.
When you mentioned Abraham before, I wanted to say in Arabic, I think, or maybe it's in Farsi, that name turns into Ibrahim with an E, not an A, with an Ibrahim. So don't worry about the vowels when they change. That's what dialects do. But if you recognize those consonants and recognize something about that word that looks familiar, go with it,
I think that, but that right there also is, I believe, the confusion between people like Abram and Brahma. You see what I'm saying? Because when you're going with them same consonants, you dig what I'm talking about. It confuses, man. If when you're looking at the consonants, coming from roughly the same area. You know what I mean?
It always confused me why Brahma and Abraham had almost the same name.
Right. They were from the same area.
There's probably a historical explanation for that. Those were adjacent cultures, the Persian and the Indian.
Yep.
They were adjacent.
Correct. They were cousins. They were both Shemitic.
But I always noticed those names are almost the same.
Yep. Yeah, and so I believe this is why the confusion, or many people confuse Abram with being Brahma, or Brahma with being Abram. First of all, they don't know that they were born in the same year, at the same time. This is what they not getting. They were born at the same time. They did the same thing at the same time in different parts of the world.
Oh, so that explains the similarity of their names.
And but it also shows the oneness and harmony and symmetry of the Creator, proving who sent who.
Without the Creator and the angels' revelations, we don't appreciate these little nuances,
You're exactly right. Wow, this is crazy. This is crazy.
So I'm getting wore out, and I'm going to sign off. But before I do that, I'm going to repeat the vowels again. Okay?
Go ahead, Doc.
First, I'm going to say them in English. A, E, I, O, U. Okay? And now I'm going to say them in IPA, which is your universal speech, if you're interested. A, E, O, U.
Ooh.
And here's my sign-off chant, which is just kind of praising the powers and begging for the light of immortality. Asatoma Satkamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityur Mamritam Gamaya. And check this out. Gamaya, that's the same as gimme. Give it to me. If you translate that properly, that part of the phrasing Gamaya, Asatoma Sat Gamaya. That it translates, please give me truth. And the give me part is Gamaya. And that's cognate. That's cognate with gimme. Sat Gamaya, Gamaya, gimme, gimme. Gimme immortality. Gimme immortality, creator.
Wow.
Gimme, gimme.
Is this, hey, Doc, is this why you get certain feelings from certain types of music? Like, because the words could be saying evil things, right? But the music is sweet, that you get a certain vibe. Is this why music can get you into reverie?
I told you, I was raised by musicians. It's in my blood. And you know, I grew up in a different time than you all. And in that time, my people believed that music could save the world. And you know what? I lived my whole damn life without even thinking about it. And now that I'm getting toward the end, I agree. And music is everything to me now. Music is what calms my soul and gets my body moving. And music is what makes us understand each other no matter what our differences are. Music is what makes us smile, and music is what makes us sweet. And music is what brings out our love. Music is the thing. Let's do more with music.
I would like to ask you this question, Doc, before you go. Is music the child of language, or is language the child of music? Which came first, the music or the language, or are they synonymous? What you think, Doc?
I think it's a good question. It's too metaphysical for me to wrap my mind around right now, but I think you're on the right track.
Man, this was insane. My brain is sizzling. Hey, listen, I
thought you were going to say intense.
This was nuts. Hey, listen, I got a little bit of smoke coming out of my ears right now. Y'all gotta excuse me.
Listen, everybody. Listen, everybody. Me and Cal planned this for a long time, and we never got around to it till now, and I'm so glad we done did it.
Oh, man, listen. Y'all gotta go. Listen, there's some spots back in this lesson. My mind was literally blown. When you brought out the Greek, the Bacchus is Yahweh.
Ooh. The whole world knows Yahweh. The whole world knows Jaja.
Oh my. Oh me, oh my.
Jehovih is our universal language.
Yeah, man. The creator, man. He say all languages are mine. All names are mine. He said we don't quibble over here about the names. All of mine. Which one you want to use? Who gonna do that work? And you know who has always done the work? Dr. Susan B. Martinez. We like to thank you.
Labor of love, my friend.
Oh,
labor
praise.
Labor of love, and may all of you do your labor of love.
Oh, praises to the great Spirit.
Let's bring on the music.
Oh, love. Let's go, man. This thing is, you know what I mean? Beautiful. Runnibis. Oh, man, this is lovely. Thank you for coming through. Blessing the Jehovah Chronicles once again. This is Jehovah Chronicles number 79. Number 79. Doctoring through. Where y'all at? Doctoring through a 3-piece chicken McNugget around here. Knocked them out 3 back-to-back lessons. Jehovih. Huh? What y'all talking about? There ain't nothing spooky. Have you heard anything spooky, bloody, murderous yet? Stop being scared of ink and paper. It's about the lesson that's in the book, right? The book don't matter. It's the message that it holds. It's what it reveals that gives it its purpose and weight. And one day you gonna see having an Owaspy, right? Because we know what they like to do to the high rays. They like to keep them in ignorance. So we get a lot of this stuff, but you know, just like Owaspy explains, 400 years from now, right? After that time and a half time, you dig what I'm talking about? That's 600 years. We're going to start declining again. And man is going to wipe his own stuff out. So they're going to pass these Owaspies, these old Owaspies around. And they're going to be like y'all ever seen the movie, The Book of Eli? Because our book right now, I ain't going to lie, it's a power. It's a power. And soon as the people plug in, oh, glory. Oh, glory. It's going to change the world. This is why I'm so proud of being some of that original faith that stock, true Cosmonians. If you was born 1948 coming back, you could be Cosmonian already and be switched up and changed over. But if you was 1948 to 1981, you the first generation of truly Cosmon babies on this planet. You the real blue rays. You the real indigos. It ain't nobody else. You the real rainbow children from 1948 to 1981.
There were so few of us. We went a whole century, just a whole bunch of white folks.
Yep. Now, but remember what Owaspy said? It's going to be 159 years. I'm going to keep this thing. It was a prophecy in Owaspy. I'm going to keep this thing hidden for 159 years. Then we see in 2007, out of nowhere, the Seventh Era Faithists produced this version of Owaspy. Out of nowhere. But the first of the people of soul and color of Egoquim of America, in America to get it. In 2007, in 2007 was Selah Shalom.
Yeah.
Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. We the very first fruits. We the very first. We gotta tear down the old edifice and build the new foundation. At the same time, we builders and we destroyers. It's balance. It's Cosmon.
Our work of tearing down is in very elegant style. It's not in a destructive style. We are tearing it down, but we're doing it with light and knowledge and power.
There's a difference between tearing down and destruction. You know what I mean? And what we understand is in the fact of dissolution or destruction, right?
Yeah.
Is creation. Because there is no building without destroying. There is no destroying without building something new in the process. They are the same.
Right. We were just saying that. I was just saying that the chick has to break the egg to come alive. And you like that. You like that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man. Doc, I gotta go sit down. I gotta sit down. I think I got brain information overload right now. You were on fire. All right. We love you, Doc.
But listen here, I'm coming back.
All right. Hey, look, y'all go out to Amazon, look up Dr. Susan B. Martinez, go get all the books. everything. Y'all go on the Amazon, y'all go on the Dr. Susan B. Martinez. Y'all check out her work. She got, listen, she the dopest. That's why she here with the Jehovah Chronicles. Thank you for coming through, Doc.
Thank you, darling. Thank you for having me.
All right. Anything you want to say to the people?
Okay, I got something to say to the people. U.
Say it with me, y'all. Say it with me, y'all. A, E, I, O, U.
Perfecto.
Oh, man. All right.
Bye-bye, sweetie.
All right. Thank you, Doc.
Talk to you later.
Bye. Talk to you later. Yo. The Doc came through with that. That Ethereum light. She spun the block on me. This the third time she done spun the block and sprayed the block with that Ethereum light, cleared the block out. Yo, if you learned something today or heard something you never heard in your life, we gonna get it. We even gonna go further into the pronunciations, man. She broke it down, man. Ah, eh, I, O, U. And like she said, that's represented in all the major languages and in all the world, man. This is amazing. You know, you got to get into the languages, man. And for anybody who is leaning towards getting into the languages, man, that's a good thing, man. Don't let nobody hold you back or down talk you or get you out your zone about what you doing, man. You keep going for what you know, man, because if you inspired to do it, man, that means if you keep pushing, good things are going to come up out of it. They have to. They have to. Because you're going to open up a whole new world. The Thai Tobacconist and Yahweh, oh my God. Listen. I got to go think on this. I got to go think on this for a minute, man. I want to thank everybody for coming through, though. You did what I'm talking about. I'm gonna throw my anybody got any questions or anything you want to say? You dig what I'm talking about? I could throw the link is at the top of the chat, but I will throw it back up in there one more time if anybody want to just come through. The brother Kente Hill never did hit the link. He was supposed to come through. Maybe we'll catch him next time. You dig what I'm talking about? Thank you to the Creative Gang for coming through, and peace to all the righteous gods and Nirvanian goddesses, all my brothers and sisters, the Essenes and Nazarenes coming through. This your boy Cosmon. You dig what I'm talking about? I got on my IG. I got my IG and goggles on. You dig what I'm talking about? I got my I'm about to jump in my Otavan. You dig what I'm talking about? That I just pulled out my Kualu. I got a Kualu dragging an Otavan. You dig what I'm talking about? Hey. It's gonna be different in the higher heavens. It's gonna be different. You dig what I'm talking about? Shout out to my Ima, because my Ima better than your Ima, my sister Huba. You dig what I'm talking about? My brother Elijah Sevens, Lone Burton up in here too. Angelic up in the house. You dig what I'm talking about? Thanks for all the gang for coming through, man. As always, you know, no questions? No questions, anybody? Hey, I don't think I can even take no questions right now. My brain is a little bit on sizzle status. I ain't even gonna front. You dig what I'm saying? But as always, man, we had a great time, man, and thank everybody for coming through. This your hostess, what the most is burning like toast is. Cosmonian Cal, man. I'm gonna stay balanced. I'm gonna keep it real. You know what I mean? Jaja first. You dig what I'm talking about? And everything will be all right. Let me see. Yep. I think I'm out of here, bro. This was heavy. I think y'all ought to go back. This was one of them ones. This was actually heavy, man. I think we need to do maybe I'll get down into the next part and do a part 2. You know what I mean? Expound on a lot of what because she brought out some stuff that I didn't even know, right? That opens up a whole how I'm even looking at the book. I look at it I'm looking at it different now. I'm like, dang, wait a minute. Is this why this? You know what I mean? The part with the apostrophe. Listen, man, this was crazy. This was crazy. And do you notice the vein of light? You dig what I'm talking about? There's a revealing of a thing all the time when you're talking about the Creator. It's like a little line of light that goes through everything. And if you just follow that, you know what I mean? It usually gets you right back to source. You know what I mean? I think the man who's being more objective about things and just calling a spade, you know what I mean? Or what we call just being real. He is a faithist, irregardless of what his belief may be. You dig what I'm talking about, especially if he's doing good works to another person. Simple. No spooky. You ain't got to do nothing. You ain't never got to praise nobody. But have you chosen the Creator? That's what makes you the chosen when you choose the Creator. How do you choose the Creator? To do good to his creation. Simple. First he say, I made you. So take care of that. Eat fruits. Drink water. Try to be healthy. Best you can. Take care of that body. I gave it to you. Take care of it. If you don't, guess what happened? Cancer, sickness, early death. Those are the wages of going against what he talked about. That's why they talk about the wages of sin. But you know, we gonna end it right there, man. This Jehovah Chronicles number 79, man. And you know, this is all in fair use. And for teaching purposes, man, we just bringing it out. This was heavy. I want you to breathe in. Let the light in. Because I'm Cosmon. And I'm out.
And oh yeah, put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feel it when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh, it's that Japheth, that Chow Mein, that Papabul, that Tao Mein, since sunset in the arc of Wayne. My brain moving like Tao Sang, so as above, it's so below. That up and that down thing, this flow is atmospheric. I call that a ground game. See, water is knowledge, so if I'm teaching, you're learning. So how your God make a sun without vortexing current? See the pattern is ponic, I'm reaching out for my people. Oh, watch me flow through your speakers, you feel the force of the ether. And when the force hits the equal, I'm taking off like an eagle. Police popped the pastor yesterday for pushing put equal. My DNA is Moshe. Mix that thing with higher water. My spirit rate is OTN. It's just a higher order. Got more light than Kavita. Rap a lot just like Tila. Went from sinner to saint. Shout out my big homie Sela. Got more torque than a sports car. Got more work than a door star. And the 4 million I make, I'm giving the Dr. Umar. Oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Super 7 in my rites and ceremonies. I'm married to Jehovah, holy matrimony. Confucius say, in the words of Caillou, before you hit the tomb, be a bridegroom. Only got one question for Miss Susan B. On how the last Ahuin is now a Angui. Blame my inspiration, I'm just thinking thoughts. But in the way of God's, we gon' keep it short. Why Jesus wanna kill me, Matthew 10:34. Just a couple questions that I'm needing to know. Oh, watch me flow, it's so potent. Set the vortex in motion. Super 7, I'm floating across the Aegean Ocean. Oh, you a Muslim now, so I guess you making salat. Well, I'm an Israelite, I'ma make him at the Shabbat. Got Moses on the bumper, super slap off in my spaceship photosphere. So I stay lit, peace and light to the faith is oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you're feeling up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied air, oh yeah. Put that Super 7 in the air. Tell me how you feeling when you feel it up there. When you in the sky breathing rarefied air. When you're breathing rarefied